understand the distrust that she has for you and
yes,
Kody,
yes.
that this would not be taken care of later.
Not me. I have said from the beginning with her, I would be taking care of this. There's nothing that I have done that would make Meri question me.
After watching all the previews, I was hesitant to watch this episode because I didn't know what we were going to see. But watching it, oh my God, it's been an eye-opener because Robyn's mask finally fell. The face she made, how angry she came across when she was talking about Meri burning bridges, about Meri betraying her trust, about not trusting Meri, tells you what we've all seen all along, or what we've all believed all along, that she's the master manipulator behind the puppet Kody. And for Kody to say she's the moral compass of the family, please take several seats. I love that Meri said she's the moral compass of your family, not me. Kudos to that. And I love that David was able to speak his truth. And Kody is going to be wound up when he finds out that David called him on his crap. And Janelle finally is open to speaking her truth. I love that in this tell-all, Meri and Janelle are unleashed, and although they are not united and fighting for the same cause, they are all speaking their truth. Amazing. Christine was right in this Janelle backdoor thing. There's Kody's truth, Robyn's truth, Janelle's truth, and then there's the truth somewhere in the middle there. So everyone is telling their version of the truth. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Sister Wives Season 20, the tell-all Part 2. Anyway, I'm going to discuss each individual, and then we'll get to the end, and then I'll talk about the Christine, David, and Kody situation. So for Meri, I am pleased that she's had, Jen, because Jen was able to sort of prompt Meri to speak about things that she wasn't comfortable speaking about. I think this is why Kody and Robyn were able to get away with a lot, because every time they were manipulating Meri to say, it's in the best interest of the family for you to keep quiet. It's in the best interest of the family for you not to say anything. And so I'm happy that she was able to let everyone know that her money went into McMansion 1, her money went into Coyote Pass 2. I said this reviews ago. Oh my God, I'm going to keep saying I said it. But I said it reviews ago that either Kody and Robyn need to sell McMansion, give Meri, Janelle, and themselves a share of McMansion since they all put money in it, and then they need to sell Coyote Pass and give these women a share of Coyote Pass. Otherwise, they could have easily kept, if they were reasonable people and fair people, Kody and Robyn could have kept all the proceeds from McMansion and given Meri and Janelle Coyote Pass and told them, okay, you split it in half, so your money will just say went to this. But because they're so greedy, they wanted a bit of every single thing. And I hope Meri's lawyers use the footage from this tell-all as a resource or as evidence to go to the judges and say Meri deserves her money. She does deserve her money. We find out that when she sold her property in Vegas, apparently the money was gifted to Robyn. I would assume it was gifted to Robyn so that she could qualify for a bigger mortgage, because otherwise, if they gave it as a loan, the bank would have said, but you still need to pay for it back, so you can't afford to pay for it. And so I think this is why it was sold as a gift and not what it was a loan. We find out that apparently in that money from Vegas, Kody said he deserved 50% of that. Meri saying she paid the mortgage, she paid the bills. We all know that she paid for Leon's college and she paid for Leon's car. So I don't know what exactly Kody paid for in regards to Meri's household. They kept her around because they loved her finances. I remember them sitting her down and asking her, how much are you earning? How much are you contributing to the family? Even though her child was grown enough to look after themselves, they still wanted Meri to contribute to the rest of the family. And yet when it came to sort of Meri withdrawing finances from the family, she was always told, but you've only got one child. You've only got one child, but you need to contribute all your finances. Make that make sense? And I don't understand why we're having this conversation where Kody say, well, I put my money in there. Robyn has the audacity to say he paid the insurance. I love that Meri spoke up and said, what does she mean? I paid my bills. My insurance was sort of in my mortgage. So which insurance is she talking about? Make it make sense. And so the audacity for Robyn to be saying that, oh, Kody paid the insurance and he paid other bills. She would pay some and he would. How do you know this? This is why I've always maintained that Kody was going to forgive Meri after the catfishing thing. But the fact that Meri bought the property in Parawan and didn't want it incorporated into the Brown family, that was the final nail in the coffin. This is why he could never take her back, because as far as he's concerned, but all the OG3 were there just to provide financial reassurance. Meri was asked about the backdoor deal. She said, I don't know anything. She was told that Robyn was fighting for you. She said, I don't know anything because I don't know what she was fighting for. And so I love that the truth was discussed as well about the NDA, and Meri said they were trying to silence me, so I had to get my lawyers to send it back and forth a couple of times until I was happy with some of the wording in the sort of agreement. And it's like, what exactly were they putting in the agreement? Now that Kody has spoken about it, I hope Meri or Janelle puts it online so that we can all see exactly what this NDA was about and why there was a need for Meri to keep quiet. This is my thought process. From what I've heard, I have a feeling Kody and Robyn were never going to give Meri a penny if she had signed the NDA as they wanted it. They were never going to give her back her money from Vegas. They were never going to give her money from Coyote Pass, even though she paid for it. In my opinion, or the impression that I get, Meri owed them. So to them, she was a financial resource. She was not a wife. She was just a financial resource. This is why she was kept around, so that she could help look after their children. Because we even had Kody at one point say that, or these women are leaving, what will happen to my other children? This is the impression that I get. And so I'm happy that Jen was there. She was able to help Meri sort of speak up for herself, speak up about her money from Coyote Pass, speak out about her money from Vegas and how she's owed that, and hopefully she will get her money back. It's the audacity for Kody for me to say that our divorce decree was 50%. You told us it was just a shuffling of papers. So if it was a shuffling of papers, why do you have a divorce decree? Why? Okay, let's take all the assets that Kody and Meri had at the time of the divorce. Let's split them 50-50. If Kody wants to be petty, then Meri must show him that she is 50% petty level, because at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense that it's 50% when it benefits him, but it's not 50% when it benefits Meri. So I don't understand why he felt the need to say that, and for him to sort of sit there and say Robyn is the moral compass for the Brown family. For him, Robyn and their 4 or 5 children, she's the moral compass. For everybody else, she's not the moral compass. And I don't understand why that man feels that everybody has to bow down to the queen. She's not the queen in everybody else's house. She's the queen in his castle, but not the queen in everybody else's house. So I really hate how he fails to take responsibility, and he fails to understand how bad he looks, even if he goes on apology tour every single week of the year. It still won't wash away the stain of what he did. The fact that he tried to throw Janelle under the bus and said Janelle was trying to have a backdoor deal with me. If it wasn't for Robyn, we were going to go through the backdoor deal. And then he says that no, Robyn didn't stop the backdoor deal. Kody was just saying something to hear himself speak. That's the impression that I get. He was just saying something to hear himself speak and to speak highly of his wife, because he must have been told, speak highly of me so that I don't get in trouble. He was asked, why didn't Robyn sign when everybody else signed? He said, I told her not to sign because at the end of the day, I wanted to make sure that everything was fair. What was fair? I don't get it. I feel like Robyn is the one who kept arguing with him that we need to keep more, because what will happen, we have younger children. And so I have a feeling this is why she brought the NDA, because she had a way that she wanted to divide the assets that the other OG3 were never going to agree to, or the OG2. Janelle, I love the fact that she doesn't care anymore. I really do. The fact that she was laughing in Suki's face every time something stupid was brought up or something silly, because she did disclose that, we were all made to sign an NDA, but now that Kody is talking about it, there's no way of enforcing his NDA because he's the one who broke it by speaking about it first. And there's no way Kody can take it back and say, because he broke the NDA, Janelle says, I didn't want a backdoor deal. And so I have a feeling that whatever she said in response to Kody is what he's taking and running with it. And I don't think Kody intended to say anything about it until they realized that Meri and Janelle were going 50-50 and they were going to go after them. And I think this is why Kody and Robyn came up with a plan to split Janelle and Meri and decided to say Janelle was going to sell the property behind your back. I do not think Janelle was going to do that. I feel like Janelle did more to warn Meri than Robyn, who was supposed to be Meri's friend. Because Janelle is the one who went and told Meri to get a lawyer, because she said, I've hired a lawyer. So the idea that suddenly being blamed, I don't get it. I love that Janelle called out the comments about Robyn being the moral compass. She said, you give power to get power, which means that Robyn is the one who rules that house. And in order for Kody to feel like he's ruling the house, he has to, give her power and make her feel like, she understands that she's the leader. Otherwise, nothing there for Kody to feel like he's in charge. And also, I love the fact that Janelle was actually precise about how the monies were spent in regards to what monies were put towards Robyn's house. And this will back up Meri for if she needs to take legal action. I hope Meri takes legal action. I hope Janelle also takes legal action, because it seems like she was paid whatever she was owed from Robyn's house and what she was owed from Coyote Pass, and somehow Meri didn't get her share. I always have a feeling that Kody always felt like he could win Janelle back if he wanted her. And that's the impression that I get. I have a feeling he thought he could win her if he wanted her. This is why he started with her, because he wanted to appease her on the pretext that if he appeases her, then she will come back to the family. Do I think she'll come back? No. Robyn, sadly, her mask fell. Her mask fell because she went on up at Meri very hard. Oh, I didn't trust Meri. She was bad mouthing me. I had her back. When did you have her back exactly is what I want to know. When exactly did you have her back? You were fighting for. What were you fighting for? Are the questions I would have wanted asked. That what exactly were you fighting for? Because you say you were fighting on behalf of Meri. What were you fighting for? What were you asking that they give Meri that they didn't want to give Meri? What is it? And sadly, Suki dropped the ball on that. The fact that Robyn was pretending to cry, we've seen her pretend to cry countless times. It doesn't move me. It doesn't move anyone else, I think. And so we're all fed up. We're just looking and thinking, okay, next, when are we moving on to the next topic? Because every single time she was backed into a corner, Robyn will always pretend to cry. Then we had Christine and David. Christine was asked, how do you feel about letting go of Coyote? She said, that's the best decision I made. I think Christine, when they came from Vegas, knew what was about to happen and knew that Kody was about to use everybody's money to buy Robyn's house. And I think this is why she ran and she brought herself a house and said, I've already found a house and I want my money to sort of accrue interest while we're waiting to build on Coyote Pass. That's the impression that I get. So she said she's happy that she did that. She was asked about the Janelle, Kody, Robyn situation, and she was asked, how do you feel about Janelle making a backdoor deal with Kody? And I love that Christine is very close to Janelle, that we know. So she didn't want to throw Janelle under the bus, but she was also very rational in her answer, because she said, at the end of the day, there's Janelle's truth, there's Kody's truth, there's Robyn's truth, and then there's the truth somewhere in the middle. So everybody has their version of the truth of what happened, which is what we all believe, that at the end of the day, Janelle might have said something, but I don't think she was ready to go ahead and sell this property, because had she been prepared to sell the property, then she wouldn't have needed to warn Meri to get lawyers. She could have easily just kept quiet, kept pushing Kody to get the property sold, and that's it. Anyway, we then see Kody on his apology tour speaking to Christine. I love that the OG3 agree that Christine needed to bring her husband, because at the end of the day, she's no longer married to Kody. They share children, but she's not longer married to him. So I love that they all said it was a good thing that the husband was there. I also love that David asked that where was Robyn, because if he's going to come and say to my wife, I loved you, then he should have brought his wife. For Robyn to say there was no need to be there, for me to be there. No, Robyn was in her feelings because she wanted to go and see Janelle, and Janelle denied her that access. And so the idea that she was going to go and see Christine, I don't think she ever wanted to, because Christine had already rejected her by telling her, once I leave here, you and I have nothing to do one another. So the fact that she was saying, oh, I didn't need to be there because it was Kody speaking to his ex-wife and it was important for her husband to be there. No, she was just saying it because it sounded great. She really was just saying it because it sounded great. I love that David stood up, and I can't wait. I wish we had dissected more, because Kody was very disrespectful to David. So I wish we had discussed more about the comments that Kody made about David and how that could have been seen. Everybody felt awkward about Kody saying I loved her. And so even when you're watching the video, you can see how uncomfortable Robyn is hearing Kody say, I loved you. I was lying when I said I didn't love you. We do not care. I am starting, what do you call it? A club. We need to get Meri her money back. Coyote Pass. She needs to get her money back, so she needs to get a quota from Coyote Pass, and she needs to get a quota from McMansion. I've said this before, I'll say this again. Anyway, sorry about my review that is all over the place. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Click on the link in my video to watch my review from part 1. Bye, guys.